So, as a mortgage advisor, I do talk a lot to first-time buyers, and it was very important for first-time buyers to understand how things work. But this today is about first-time remortgagers. So, or people who are having a refresher when it comes to remortgaging. Haven't done it for a while, need a refresher. Now, basically, when your mortgage deal is coming to an end, you need to understand what the do's and don'ts are in order to get the best new mortgage deal. And when the deals come into an end, it's called a remortgage. That is the whole process. A lot of people just think it's a new mortgage deal, but that is when we're talking about remortgaging, that's basically what we're talking about. So today I'm going to go through my don't do list. It's what not to do 6 months before, 3 months before, during the remortgage process. So everybody knows. And as if you stay to the end, then I will be able to sort of give you the actual list. So we go through the list and then I'll supply it so you have your own copy. So here you go. Right, so the first thing I want to do is share my screen so we can actually talk through the remortgaging. While I'm sort of doing that, I just want to explain a little bit about me. So my name is Amanda. I call myself the mortgage coach because I combine mortgage advice with financial coaching. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing is 6 months before, you can actually remortgage, book on a deal with, as depending on who your current lender is, actually 6 months before. And then considering 4 or 5 years ago the interest rates were as low as they are, what you would do is you would just sit on whatever deal you've got, and as the months go through, if better deals turn up, then you can chop and change. It's kind of like a guarantee. So you kind of have it sitting there right up until your time is up and you need to remortgage. But you can do it 6 months before, and that gives you the opportunity. Also, it gives you opportunity to work on your credit, to work on your situation so you can get the best mortgage deal possible. Now, 6 months before, as I said, the first point, do not ignore your credit file. I always say use Check My File. The good thing about Check My File is it's multi-agency, which means, if every time you have a credit commitment, it has to, and that's credit cards, loans, etc., um, it has to be registered with a credit agency, but it doesn't have to be registered with them all. So some might be with Equifax, some might be with TransUnion, etc., etc., etc. But what I'm saying is by having it with a multi agency, that is when you are literally going from, you can see it all. You can see it all, and it really does make a difference. The next thing is between, say you were on a 5 year fixed, over those 5 years, have you racked up any credit cards, loans, car finance, buy now, pay laters? By some people don't even realize the commitments that they make, and you may be out and about and you're buying a sofa and they're like, oh, you can do it over 3 installments, and you're like, okay, that goes on your credit report. So if you can, 6 months before your mortgage deal is due to end, you actually have a look at your credit report. You can see what is on there. I had one client, she had 27 credit buy now, pay laters. I mean, one was £2, one was £12, but we were able to clear it all up before you got to remortgage, because if the lender sees that level of buy now, pay laters, they will think you cannot manage your money. Another thing is living in your overdraft, can't manage your money. There are indicators, red flags that really put people off. Now, we've talked about the first 2 points, and then the last one. This all hinges on your loan to value. Now, depending on what Zoopla, Rightmove, on the market, there's loads available, says that what your valuation is and then what your mortgage balance is, what the difference between those two. When you're purchasing, it's the deposit, but after you've purchased and it's a remortgage, it's called equity. And depending on what that is, it depends on what interest band you're at, the loan to value band, and what interest rates will get offered to you. Now, basically, if you work it out and you're at, say, 71% and you've got some savings and you can add it, so make a lump sum payment off from your mortgage when it's due to change to the new lender or change over to the new deal. What you can do is, you may only have enough savings to make a 2% difference, but that will bring it from 71 to 69. And then you're in a different loan to value bracket, which means you will have more advantageous deals, interest rates, and things like that. So you need to work these things out 6 months before, because if you do need to do a bit of saving, then that is the perfect time. Or you do need to, sell some shares or whatever you want to do. That is something that you really, really need to sort of look into. Right, the next thing is what you shouldn't be doing 3 months before. So this is, waiting for that all important letter from the lender, because at the end of the day, if you wait too long and then you haven't got enough time to go anywhere else, you could end up going on the standard variable rate, which is a lot higher than even the normal variable rates and the fixed that are out at the moment. The current lender isn't always the cheapest. Loyalty rates are very rare nowadays. They used to do whatever they can to keep you. Now there's less loyalty in there. Someone I know, one of my clients, changed jobs very close, and even though they're happy with you changing jobs, but when it came to using the bonus for affordability, you have to have 2 years history. They were in a different company, overtime, all these other things that you can normally add as affordability, you can't do if you're either still in you haven't been in your new job long. And some lenders are still a bit funny if you're still in your probation. So just be careful with that. The next thing is, during the mortgage application, don't apply to loads of different lenders, having loads of different credit scores. It's best to, as I said, go to a mortgage advisor. They can do a soft search and find the right lender for you. Don't forget that there can be product fees. If you obviously, again, go with the mortgage advisor, they can get you a remortgage where you don't have to pay the legals, and there's things like that. Just be aware of all of your credit commitments and be honest with the lender or the mortgage advisor, whoever you're talking to. The next thing is, after you've got the mortgage offer, um, there is a changeover and there is a process on how that works. So basically, with this don't do list, it talks through all of those points. And the last thing, call to action. If you do need help with any of this stuff, I offer a free remortgage MOT where I assess your affordability, I assess your situation, but it's always good to come to me 6 months before your mortgage is due and I can help you. So I hope this has all been really, really useful, and I will be putting in a link in the comments to show you where you can actually get this don't do list from. Thank you.